Titan Season 3, Episode 8. Alright, so this episode of Attack on Titan, basically what happens is you have Historia's father becomes a Titan, and it's like a huge giant Titan, and it's heading right for Wall Malia, or one of the walls, and basically all of the characters are trying to figure out, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to stop it? And you have the main guy, Aaron, he becomes he's able to use his Titan form to create a shield, which it's a great potential that they'll be able to use that power to plug a wall and figure out what's going on with the father, and they're all trying to figure out what to do with Aaron. Do we need to give Aaron to Historia to eat? But basically the whole King's family's personalities take over the Rice family, so it's even worth trying to preserve that power, because it just hasn't worked out for humanity for the past 100 years. So I like the whole episode with them dealing with moral dilemmas, and that's one thing I've liked about this season, is they're actually dealing with real world problems. This is Attack on Titan always reminds me of The Walking Dead, just a better version of what's the best for our humanity. And that's what I liked about this episode. My Hero Academia Season 3, Episode 25. This is a season finale episode. And the cool thing about this episode of My Hero Academy, this is the last time we get to talk about My Hero Academy this season on the TV recap show. And it was cool seeing the big three. And I have a friend from work who tells me that his character is awesome. And he's just, he meets all the UA first year heroes and completely demolishes them, because he's been a student there for 3 years, and the only one that kind of impresses him is Deku, and Deku is able to predict his movement a little bit, and that's one thing I liked about the episode. And it's just basically the show is paralleling this new hero to Deku, where he basically, his power is he had to work so hard to get his power to work the way it does, and it reminds you that it takes hard work to become a hero, and that's one thing I liked about this episode. I'm looking forward to next season. I'll talk more about my season review this week. Doctor Who, Series 11, Episode 2. So this episode of Doctor Who, basically the Doctor takes her and her companions to this strange world where she's trying to figure out where her TARDIS is. And this was, what I liked about this episode, it was a little cool sci-fi adventure. And that's one thing I like about it, was we see all the companions, we see our new companions dealing with Earth. I love the Audrey Hepburn glasses in this episode. Overall, this episode was very interesting. It had some really cool sci-fi moments. I really like Jodie Whittaker's Doctor so far, and I like the companions so far, and it was cool. We got to see the new TARDIS, we got to see the new Outlook, and she said, "You've redecorated." I was hoping she said, "I don't like it," but she said, "I love it." So hopefully someone will say, "Huh, you've redecorated." I don't like it, because that's Doctor Who tradition. So yeah, this episode was very decent. I'm looking forward to seeing next week as we're traveling back in time. Arrow, Season 7, Episode 1. So this episode of Arrow, this is the pilot episode of the season. So this episode, the episode is called Inmate blank 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 number, and basically Oliver is still being an inmate in this maximum security prison, and he just doesn't know. He's hoping that they can find Dia so he can maybe get out and see his wife and kids again. He's dealing with prison life. It's a very interesting episode. And then you have a new Green Arrow, and the episode also has some flash forwards too going on, and you're just like, oh, this is now really becoming like Lost. As long as they don't have to fight a smoke monster, I am totally game. You see Roy Harper is in there, and he's in the future. I'm curious who the Green Arrow is. I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be Roy, but who knows? It could be anybody. It could be someone of the team, it could be anybody, or someone else from Oliver's past, and we just really do not know yet, and it's going to be interesting seeing the rest of this season. So anyways, I enjoyed the season premiere of Arrow Season 7. I am hoping it's better than last season. I liked last season, but I didn't love it. I think it had some story problems, but, you know, that's it. The Flash, Season 5, Episode 2. So this episode of The Flash, we're seeing Flash teaching his daughter Nora how to be a good speedster, how to use her experience, how to do everything that he did, and he realized wasn't always the best speedster that he was now. He started out on the bottom, now he started from the bottom, now he's here. And basically this episode, you're seeing him training, and then you're seeing this new villain who has basically a he has a metahuman nullification weapon, which basically nullifies all metahumans' power. So that was kind of interesting, and I guess he's the bad of the season, or Flash sometimes, like, they show a villain, you're like, oh, he's the bad, and then you're like, oh, wait, no, he's not. So yeah, I'll be interested to see more this season, and yeah, I'm really liking the chemistry between Barry and his daughter and everything going on there. Black Lightning, Season 2, Episode 2. So this episode of Black Lightning, we're seeing Jefferson as he's telling the people of his school that he's resigning as principal and he's going to step down as a teacher. And all this other things going on is you're having Black Lightning dealing with his son, or with his daughter, Lightning, who is basically become this big-time hero, and she's high-fiving people. He's like, that's not what we do. And I really like the guy who always plays his mentor, because, you know, he was the dad in Dexter, and I just think he's a hell of an actor. There's really not much more to say. I mean, we see some stuff with Tobias, we see stuff with the black guy with all the dreads, who's the one, the Jefferson's daughter's boyfriend in the beginning of season 1, who got all super tough and stuff. So yeah, this is a very interesting episode. Survivor, David versus Goliath, episode 4. So this episode of Survivor, we're seeing the tribe mix up. Actually, at the beginning of the episode, we see the Asian girl. She gets taken out. Well, she basically volunteers to lead the game. We knew it was going to happen because at the last episode, they pointed back to the David tribe, and she said, I think I busted my MCL or something, and then the next episode, yeah, she leaves. So they were setting stuff up. The Davids and Goliaths, they mix, and we see tribal counts, and we see 3 tribes. I hate when they split the 3 tribes. It's too much going on. There's just too much going on. And one thing I liked about this episode was the Tribal Council. The Tribal Council was amazing. And it was a very interesting, fun little episode. And there are some really cool characters we're really getting to know. But there's really not much more to talk about. I'm going to be curious when they get to the merge. But for now, we got to deal with this 3-tribe game. Who will find an idol. The Coral finding the nullification weapon. I mean, I think that's actually a pretty cool twist. We'll see how it's played out. But I think it's a cool little twist. Riverdale, Season 3, Episode 2. So this episode of Riverdale, we're seeing Archie. He's in prison now, or this juvenile detention center, and he is trying to deal with life. He's trying to stay alive. He's trying to team up with the servants, but the servants don't really want him. And the ghoulies take his shoes. I mean, typical prison life, right? And the episode is just more of that. And then we have Betty and Jughead. They're teaming up to discover a new mystery, and there's like these seizures going around town. It's kind of weird, and we hear some plot mystery from all the grown-ups of the show. So I'll be curious to see what happens more in Riverdale. But yeah, this was a very interesting episode, and I'm curious to watch more of it. This is actually one of my favorite TV shows to watch. It's just a fun little show. The Big Bang Theory, Season 12, Episode 5. So this episode of Big Bang Theory, there's not much to talk about this episode. We have Raj and Howard, they're just hugging, and they're being bros, and Bernadette's doing a weird Russian accent. I don't like Bernadette this season. It's just me, but I don't like her. I think she's not funny. And that's just me. I might be completely wrong on that, but comment below. Tell me if you think Bernadette's actually being funny this season. Sheldon's trying to get Amy to quit her project so they can work on their thing they came up with at the end of the wedding. This wasn't a great episode, let's be honest with ourselves, but we're going to get a lot of duds in this final season of Big Bang Theory. Young Sheldon, Season 2, Episode 5. In this episode, we're seeing Meemaw's boyfriend, the professor character. I forget the character's name, I'm sorry. But basically, he has an idea for both Sheldon and Missy to involve in a project that involves twins. George is trying to buy a boat. It's kind of funny. He's like, $50 an hour? Hell yeah! And there was some funny parts, and where it was funny where Sheldon was really good at the smart parts of it, the equations, but Missy was better at the personal stuff. And I thought that was a very good episode to develop some of the characters going on and things we know about Sheldon. He's not good with the personal things. He doesn't understand all the personal relationships going on in scenes. So I very much enjoyed this episode of Young Sheldon. And guys, that ends another episode of the TV Recap Show. Whatever show you like me talking about, comment below, let me know. And tell me if Daredevil's good, because I haven't had a chance to watch it. Probably going to watch it right after I get done editing all these videos I have to do. So guys, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button, subscribe, see more, tell your friends about Easy Nation. All too easy.